Well, welcome to another edition of our Yankees podcast, Believe in the Bronx. Pete Caldera here in Miami, Florida. Mike Stanton at his Houston studios, three-time Yankees world champion reliever. Mike, it's about as hot here in Miami as it probably is in Houston.
Yeah, you have gotten down south, and we have you don't need a sweater, that's for sure. Probably a bottle of water and maybe some shade, but shorts are a must down here in the South right now.
It is scorching hot. At least the Yankees will be indoors for these three games that they're playing with the Marlins. Then they go on to play three more games against the Atlanta Braves. So this schedule does not let up this interleague portion of their schedule against a wild card contender and maybe the best team, obviously, in the National League. But right now the Yankees, they had trouble against the White Sox, winning one game out of three. You put any opponent in front of them now, it's a struggle. And speaking of struggle, and they're only three games over 500 as we speak, 12 games back in the division, which is gone goodbye, and 5 games back in the wild card. For a team that has had trouble scoring all season and has struggled big time with runners in scoring position, they now have a crisis in their rotation with Rodon's injury and with Luis Severino just cannot get right. His ERA is now over 8. They tried an experiment to try to get him past his first inning issues by just bypassing the first inning and bringing him in the second inning in Chicago, and it still ended badly for Severino, 4 earned runs in 2 innings. So just curious what you thought about that experiment, Mike, and what do you do with Severino at this point?
Ooh, that's a tough question, because the thing is, when you still look at the stuff, you still see the velocities and the spin rate and stuff like that. You're still saying, okay, he's healthy. It's the right guy that's going out there, but confidence is a fickle bed partner, and it can come and go as quickly as one pitch. And what it tells me with the Yankees going to the opener, going down that road, just trying to get him right, they are really searching. Everyone is trying everything to figure this out. And, Luis Severino has never been a guy. He's always had exceptional velocity. He's always, but I don't feel like his breaking balls have ever been like elite. I think he does have a little bit of a mechanical issue. He likes to open up, which means a right-handed pitcher steps more towards a left-handed hitter than directly to the plate. And that makes your delivery very complex. That makes it really hard to repeat. And when you throw the confidence factor, or lack thereof of confidence, for Luis Severino, I think you look at it and you go, okay, now you can understand why there's so many struggles. But, it's you got to keep trying running them. You got to keep trying things. You got to keep running them out there. Now, whether you do it at the big league level, or maybe you send him down just trying to take the pressure off of him and let him, kind of just relax some, because right now he's pitching with the weight of the world on his shoulders every single pitch. And that is not a good place to be, especially when your confidence is wavering.
Yeah, and you can see that confidence crisis every time you speak.
You see it on his face.
And in his post-game quotes, I mean, he called himself the worst pitcher in the game, and nothing's going right right now. I mean, they've tried different things. I mean, they've basically tried everything but taking him out of the rotation, and it's difficult right now when you've got Rodon who is not pitching right now due to the hamstring issue, and they just if they take him out of the rotation now, you're going to have Randy Vasquez, kind of filling in for Rodon for a couple of starts right now. Do you eventually bring back Johnny Brito and put him back in the rotation and send Severino to the bullpen? I guess that's still on the table right now. But this is a guy, as you mentioned, right, with a high octane fastball that. But the main issue has been fastball command, and at times he seems like he's almost afraid to throw that pitch. Yeah. I think if they made him concentrate on just fastball changeup, I mean, could that have an effect? And just stay away from the breaking.
Yeah.
for.
Well, those are his 2+ pitches, but we know there's a trend all the way across Major League Baseball. You have to remember, 2022 was the first time in Major League Baseball history that there were thrown, and we're talking about all the way across the league. Every pitcher, on average, there were more breaking balls, off-speed pitches thrown than fastballs for the first time in history. So, that's kind of the trend. What do hitters hit? Hitters hit fastballs. And that's why you see even the most elite of pitchers in Major League Baseball, they're still at best right at 50% fastball usage. So that's kind of the trend. Now, for him to go to fastball changeup, I think would be pretty smart, just simply because those are his 2+ pitches.
Right.
His sliders, breaking ball, that's not a plus pitch. And if you're getting beat on your easily your third best pitch, there may be an issue there. But yeah, I think simplifying things, and I'm sure the Yankee coaching staff, they're as good as anybody in the business. They know this and they've tried this. It's really going to be up to Luis. I don't know if there's a whole lot that that the Yankees can do. It's going to be up to him to make the adjustments, to do what he needs to do to try and get that confidence and just go out there and pitch one pitch at a time. Not even one, not one inning, not one hitter. Go one pitch at a time, and kind of just slowly build that confidence back up. Because he gets a few guys out and he starts relaxing a little bit, and now that confidence starts to grow. Because who knows what could happen? I mean, I said before, it can come and go as quickly as one pitch. So maybe he can get back into the groove that he needs to be in. But, I as far as the division, I agree with you. The division is over. This team is not going to is not going to win this division. They got to leapfrog everybody to get to the top, and they're 5 games back in the wild card.
Yeah. I mean, could Severino get that confidence back out of the bullpen? I think, this is where it's trending. Even with the injury situation they have in the rotation, I don't know if you could, in good faith, put him back out there again. It
could, because going into the pen, that could even enhance just the fastball changeup combination.
Right.
There's not
limit your arsenal now when you're in the bullpen, I guess. Right.
Right. I mean, when I came to the big leagues, that's actually what they want. You one fastball, throw a fastball, and then some kind of off-speed pitch, whether it's a changeup or slider or whatever it is. And, they, as a young pitcher in Atlanta, we were all young pitchers. They actually told us, let's get really, really good at throwing 2 pitches instead of being mediocre at 3 or 4.
Right.
And, that simplicity approach is something that can work, especially for a guy that has got all kinds of things going. You got to really feel for him, because he's trying to do everything. He's probably trying too hard. That's one of the problems. But the stuff is still there, so you can't give up on him. But this is just a time that they really need him to turn this around.
Right. Yeah. Maybe you get to the bullpen, you simplify things, and then you start building your confidence back up. Right now, it's a good segue to talk about the injury situation too. Rodon thinks he could be back that week of August 22nd. So that's a 2-start pause with the hamstring issue. Now we'll see if that if that
he wasn't throwing the ball great even when he went down with the injury. That was against the Astros. So I was actually watching that game very intently, and he was getting beat up. He had given up a couple of home runs even before the hamstring issue. So this might have just give him a little bit of a break, clear his head also, because another guy that when he's right, he may be the best left-hander in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, coming off two All-Star seasons, but this has been a lost season because of the injuries and the ineffectiveness. But at least he's hoping that the way he feels right now that he could be back after missing 2 starts. Anthony Rizzo will be rejoining the Yankees on this road trip.
Nice.
Still on the IL, but perhaps that's a sign that he could be cleared for baseball activity. We haven't heard that that's a go as of yet, dealing with post-concussion syndrome, but still there's still a lot of unknown whether they're even going to get Rizzo back at all. this season. But he had a follow-up exam in New York this week, and I guess we'll find out this weekend if he can slowly begin ramping up baseball activity.
Yeah, this is a little cloudier situation, when you have Tommy John, when you have, like Rondon, you have a pulled hamstring. There is a set protocol that you go through to heal that injury. But when you're talking about your brain, when you're talking about concussions, it's really up to each individual on how he's going to, and there's nothing Anthony can do. It's just how his body is going to heal and his brain is going to clear and get back to where he needs to be mentally to go out and perform in Major League Baseball. It's just one of those things that we'll keep our fingers crossed. It's great that he's progressing and that we're getting to the point that he can get back on the field, but there's still a lot of hurdles he has to cross before he can get back into an active player situation.
Right. And then DJ LeMahieu gets scratched from his from the last Yankees game, which was this past Wednesday, calf tightness. So he's kind of day to day right now. So another situation to monitor. But Mike, you wonder now. I mean, is it time to, where we sit here and, heading toward the middle of August with, yes, the division is gone. I mean, this doesn't look like a postseason team, even with the, with the added wild cards in the game now that, the way it's trending, why not do something like they did in 2016, which was to, call up some players that could give them some life, that they could look at, that they could project, that they could, you could give the fans even something to look ahead at.
Sure.
I mean, we've seen Oswald Peraza in and out of here. Isn't it time to give him some regular work at third base and let LeMahieu split time at first with Jake Bowers? Another guy, Everson Pereira. This is one of their better outfield prospects. Only 22. In 17 games since he's been elevated from AA, he's hitting .324 with 6 homers and 30 RBIs and a .931 OPS. That's in 27 games. Is it time to take a look at him?
Well, I think it very well could. Brian Cashman and company are doing just that, having these discussions. It might be a little early to, just completely give up, because you got to remember, it's no longer about the long haul of the season. Okay. You got 6-7 weeks left. And, you look at the standings, especially in the wild card, and you go, okay, they're 5 games back. Well, the other way to look at it is they're only 5 games back. You go on a good run, you start winning baseball games, you start getting some runs and help those pitchers out. You never know. So you may be a little bit early here the second week of August to do that. Maybe another week or two, then you definitely start looking at it. But
well, yeah, Mike. I mean, this road trip might determine that
could
course.
Be, yeah.
Because I mean, if you lose another series to Miami, if you get swept by the Atlanta Braves, this team could come back to New York to play the Red Sox and be 15 plus games out of the division and 7 or 8 games out of a wild card.
Well, and even maybe even worse than that, as far as the optics are concerned, maybe under 500,
which would be really devastating.
Crazy,
considering the high-powered talent that they have and the salaries that they draw. Austin Wells is another guy to watch, catcher. He's been elevated to AAA not long ago, but that's these are some of their best prospects, guys that were unobtainable to teams in this or previous trade deadlines that they have high hopes for. I mean, Pereira could be in their outfield next year. Wells could be in their catching mix next season. This is a team that has wide open vacancies in left field. They don't know who their center fielder is going to be next year with Bader, his contract running out after the season and going into free agency. Third base has got to be a question still. So, it might be time to start having pre-spring training auditions in some places.
Yeah, it could happen. And if things keep trending the way they are, It will happen. It's just a matter of when. And, the thing is, you're still the New York Yankees. You're not the Cincinnati Reds. You're not the Kansas City Royals. There's expectations that come with putting on the pinstripes every day, and fan base, well, they want to win. And if there's a chance to win, they don't want to see you give up on the season. And I know that, there have been some chants in the stadium about Cashman and, about his job security. Now, Hal has put that aside and said that's not on the table. But, he's got to make hard decisions. And he being Brian Cashman, meaning, he's got to look not just hopefully at the roster, at where you are in the standings. He's got to look at it realistically. And, at the trade deadline, there weren't many moves made, but you're talking about a last place team. You're talking about a team that was well out of the wild card. I think about 3 games out of the wild card at that time. And, you really going to sell the farm for a chance, an outside chance, because you're on the outside looking in to make the playoffs? I think Brian actually did kind of what he should have done, at the trade deadline. And that's hold on to those prospects, because you never know which one of those are going to work out, just because the big league club situation really didn't warrant bringing in a whole lot of help.
Right. But to take it back, and I do agree with you at some level there that it wasn't time to sell the rest of your top prospects for rentals. If that's
because this trade deadline was expensive. This was not, there were really not that many sellers. There were not many difference makers on the market. So it was absolutely a seller's market. So the prices were high.
Right. But by the same token, they didn't sell some of their relief pitching that could have brought, some high priced talent back. And
it's hard to do. I know that's the strong suit of the team. And, with the struggles they've had in the rotation, the bullpen has been a mainstay. And it's hard to do, to take away from especially if you're really considering yourself still in the race. You're really not trying to detract from your big league roster.
Right. But there again, I mean, the current state of the team where it is because of some of the flawed construction that they have, and that's certainly on Cash and his lieutenants. This team is largely veteran and largely injury prone, and we've seen that play out, time and again with this roster. It's hurt them last year. Certainly has been the story this year. I guess we'll wrap it up here, Mike. Again, the Yankees are facing a tough schedule ahead. Miami Marlins, Atlanta Braves, and go home and play the Boston Red Sox. And we'll see exactly what state they're in at that point. By the way, you were a immaculate grid answer today.
Was I really?
Yes.
What? Yes, someone that doesn't ever know the answers?
We'll give you a free one here. Giants, Braves, you fit that box. So
yep,
you fit a couple boxes.
A few, yes. Yeah, when you talk about teams, I mean, there were 11 different teams and 3 of those twice. So, I mean, you had, 8 different teams and 3 of those twice. So, yeah, there's a lot of different organizations. I got all the bags upstairs. So, yeah, it's quite a pile.
That's, yeah. I noticed that the Yankees, they you come from another organization. Those bags from the Cubs or the Diamondbacks and wherever else you came from disappear really quickly.
They have a tendency to go missing. Yes, they do.
Kuzas get them out of the room really, really fast in spring training.
That's right.
All right. Well, this was great, Mike. Thanks once again, and thanks all of you for listening and watching. And we'll see you next week.
Adios.